Welcome back to Not...
Oh, there it is. Yeah, jumped the gun.
My bad.
Got a little
Welcome back
early.
to Not Too Late. It's time to check out this week's top stories. Harvey Weinstein has been convicted of some sex crimes. Yeah, some planes fly. A swarm of nearly 40,000 bees attacked police officers who were responding to a call about a single bee sting. In response to the bees, the police did what they usually do first: shoot them.
39-year-old David Arias, the Zamboni driver for the Carolina Hurricanes, filled in as the emergency backup goalie for the team when all of the goalies were injured. The story is cool and all, but who the hell drove the Zamboni? A BYU pole vaulter snagged his scrotum during a jump and had to get 18 stitches to repair the damage. Here's hoping next time that he keeps all his eggs in the basket.
And now for Tucker and I to play a game of Joke Me Off. Using the same story, we both wrote a punchline. Let's see who did it better. After building a rocket to prove the Earth is flat, Mad Mike Hughes died in, surprise, a rocket crash. In the flat earther community, it will forever be known as the shot heard across the world.
And now for mine. Mad Mike Hughes, a former limo driver who claimed to be the world's greatest daredevil, attempted to launch himself 5,000 feet into the air on a steam-powered rocket when his parachute failed. The rocket crash resulted in Mad Mike Hughes becoming much like his view of the Earth: flat.
That's it for the news this week. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Not Too Late. You may know our guest from his book, Bream Gives Me Hiccups and Other Stories, or maybe from his career as a playwright with plays like The Spoils or Happy Talk. And if you don't know him from those, you definitely know him from his film career, where he has starred in movies like The Social Network, Batman v Superman, Zombieland, The Art of Self-Defense, and many more. Welcome to the stage, Jesse Eisenberg. Welcome. In the past, in interviews, you've touched on how some of your characters can bleed into your everyday life.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, how do you keep some characters like Lex Luthor or other big bads out of your everyday life? How do you keep them separate?
Yeah, I don't know. Some people go nuts. Some actors, go crazy, or they become like empowered. If they're playing like, a character who's like a king or something, they become almost despotic. I've seen that happen sometimes. Similarly, people who play like characters who are always put upon or victimized, you see that almost infect their life in a way that could be unhealthy. Luckily, I'm surrounded by people who are not in the arts, and so like they're not constantly questioning their own ego. My wife and best friend are both teachers, and my son is a baby, and so like they're not kind of obsessed with their own artistry. And so if I'm surrounded by people like that, there's no tolerance or there's no patience for kind of indulging too much.
So speaking more on acting, when you write plays, often you star in them, and I'm curious as to how that process is different from just picking up a script and reading it and playing that part versus writing for yourself. How does that process differ? How does it change?
Well, like I try to write about things that I'm kind of most embarrassed about, whether it be my own ignorance about certain issues or my own like anxieties, and I try to kind of like make those that much more extreme, both so that they're entertaining and also so I can kind of explore it in myself. The thing I know better than anybody is my own mind and the kind of dark recesses of it. And so when I write about like these horrible things, like I had this dream when I was younger, it's so disgusting I don't want to say it even on this show, despite everything that you've said about me. And so it became like kind of the plot element of this play. I wrote The Spoils, and it's such a dark, disgusting thing I would never even tell anybody, but I put it in a play, and there's some kind of cathartic thing about putting the thing that you're most afraid of into this very public thing. And I don't know why. Artists do it all the time. They have this thing they would never tell another human being, but they put it in a public forum. And it's just this weird way of kind of exercising that, I don't know, that strange part of your mind.
You're involved with an amazing charity here in Bloomington, the Middle Way House. And I'm just curious as to, if people want to get involved here in Bloomington, how do they go about reaching out? How do they go about getting connected?
Oh, well, thank you so much. You're so sweet to mention that. We live between here and New York, and anytime I meet anybody that's gone to IU, I always ask them, do you know Middle Way House? So my mother-in-law ran this domestic violence shelter in town for 35 years. It's just the most wonderful organization. It's a domestic violence organization, sexual assault, rape crisis center, a trafficking agency, human trafficking prevention agency. And so they have tons of volunteers, student volunteers. It's also important not just for volunteers, but that people know that it's here and know that it's a resource if, God forbid, they need to use it. what's wonderful about it is that it's not, it's not really affiliated with the university, but it's on campus. It's right here in this town, and it's so important because it's such an important resource for, college kids, and also for the, non-college residents of Southern Indiana.
Absolutely.
Thanks for mentioning it.
No problem. It does great for Bloomington. It's been an important part of the Bloomington community and will continue to be. So
Thank
we
you for
appreciate
saying all that. Yeah.
And speaking of Bloomington, when did this love affair with Bloomington start? Because like you said, you've lived between New York and Bloomington, and you've always had a little piece of Bloomington in your heart. How did this love affair with Bloomington start?
Yes, my love affair with Bloomington started with a love affair with a real human, which I met Anna, more than half my life ago, and she's her mother, of course, is Toby Strout, who passed 3 years ago, unfortunately, but ran Middle Way House. So Anna comes from what I would call Bloomington royalty, which is people who are doing wonderful social justice work, because that's what I think of Bloomington as. And and Anna took me to Bloomington. I'd never, growing up as my family were three generations New York, and then before that Poland, and so Indiana was something that was just not on our map, And so when I came to Indiana, I was just I don't know. I pictured breaking away in corn, and I didn't realize well, they're both true, but there's also other stuff as well. And so it was just this amazing thing to realize that there's this unbelievable town of Bloomington in a state that I kind of always thought of as rural and not coming from the same politics as my family, and then to come here and realize that this is the most interesting place on earth. I mean, you have the best music school in the country, you have the most curious people on the planet. There's the Stone Age Institute, whose founders are right here in the front row, most interesting vast anthropological holdings in the world. And so there's just so much here because of the university. And it occurred to me, and this is my ignorant, coastal, bubble of an upbringing, is that, there are places like this probably all over the world that I know certainly all over the country that I'm just not privy to because I don't go to them. And so I just, fell in love with the town and the people in it, and I'm so happy to kind of call it a second home.
And I think Bloomington is very lucky to have you.
Oh, thanks a lot.
All right. Before we let you go, we're going to play a little game. So we're going to roll a clip to set it up. Let's play that clip. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to our very first episode of Not Too Late. Come back next week and watch me play some games with our special guest, which may or may not be Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg and I will learn how to cup stack together.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg and I will learn to play backgammon. All right, so let's roll the dice and then say we learned.
Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg and I check our candy for razor blades.
Oh, there is one here.
There's one in there?
It's good we checked.
We knew. Jesse Eisenberg and I are going to ding-dong ditch the dean. All right,
ready?
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Jesse Eisenberg and I will judge houses at House-O-Rama. What would you rate this house?
A 7.
Tune in next week where I'm going to play patty cake with my old pal Jesse Eisenberg. There we go. Jesse Eisenberg and I make sweet, sweet pudding.
Is this how you imagined it?
No. Jesse Eisenberg and I make a risky investment into a shady frozen yogurt pop-up shop. Frazzin' your gut.
Frazzin' your gut. Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody want some money? Yeah, all right.
You'll get me back later, right?
Oh, yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Join us next time with Jesse Eisenberg and I meet your dad. All right, we'll leave that there for now. Jesse Eisenberg and I share some scary stories. It was a man.
Sure.
He had a finger. And it was so bloody.
Oh, God.
That he needed a Band-Aid. Jesse Eisenberg and I will learn the true meaning of Hanukkah.
They learned how to, keep oil they thought it was going to be for 1 night, 8 nights. It's about oil conservation.
Jesse Eisenberg and I learned the meaning of Christmas.
Probably a similar thing.
Oil conservation?
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg and I kiss under the mistletoe.
Can we hug under the mistletoe?
We can hug under the mistletoe.
Great.
Absolutely.
There we go.
There we go. Jesse Eisenberg and I reinvent the Macarena. Start here, or does it go here?
No, it goes to the head, right?
Well, why don't we change that?
Let's go here first.
Jesse Eisenberg and I get sued for copyright infringement. Are you the owner of the Macarena?
I am the owner of the Macarena.
We just got a cease and desist. Come back next week to see me play some Plinko with Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg and I, we're going to go to Dave & Buster's. Oh!
Wow.
Your very own
Thank you so much.
Dave & Buster's guitar.
Wait, where did you actually get this?
Dave & Buster's. As this extra special episode comes to a close, I want to remind all of you, It is not too late for your dreams to come true. I'll see you all next time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
That was great.